Welcome back to our Lean Revolution saga. Chapter 2: Wastes and How to Fight Them. Annex SL is not lean. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Confucius. Quite often, customers ask, what is Annex SL? In simple terms, Annex SL is an ISO standard for ISO Management System Standards, also known as MSS. I know, it sounds funny, but it really is a standard for standards. Annex SL was initially released in 2012 and revised to Annex L in 2019. The annexes are a template, a cookie cutter if you wish, for all new MSS standards. Annexes establish a management system standard format that helps streamline new standards and makes implementing multiple standards within one organization easier. These annexes apply only to the ISO Management System Standards 9001, 14001, 45001, and others. Since the early days of ISO standards, each ISO technical committee created its standards in a format that they thought would suit their industry sectors the best. The only commonality among the standards was the first three sections: scope, normative references, and terms and definitions. For example, ISO 9001, 1994 and earlier versions were framed into 20 elements. Management responsibility, quality system, contract review, design control, and document and data control, as well as some others. ISO 9001-2008 set requirements for QMS in 8 elements, 3 common clauses: quality management system, management responsibility, resource management, product realization, and measurement, analysis, and improvement. ISO 14001-2004 defined its requirements in 6 sections: general requirements, environmental policy, planning, implementation and operation, checking, and management review. The challenges with various ISO standards formats became evident, especially when companies started moving towards integrated management systems. The languages varied from standard to standard. The clause numerations were different, definitions varied, just to mention a few differences. The annexes SL and L have been created to introduce identical main text, common terms and definitions, and a typical standard structure. This allowed for streamlined standards, encouraged standardization, and eased the integration of management systems. The new high-level structure of Annex L defines each management standard's specific requirements into 10 sections. Scope, normative references, terms and definitions, context of the organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, and improvement. While the annex's introduction solved numerous deficiencies of the management system standard structures, it introduced some new and at times confusing terminology. Since the beginning, ISO management system standards have distinguished 2 categories: procedure and record. For example, old ISO 9001-2008 mentioned the term procedure 24 times, and record 57 times, if I counted correctly. ISO 13485-2003 and ISO 14001-2004 used the same terms to differentiate between requirements: the procedures and evidence of compliance with requirements, the records. Annexes put an end to these distinctive and familiar terms. Instead, the annexes introduced some intricate terms of their own, such as documented information. This term defines both procedures and records. ISO 9000-2015 defines it as information required to be controlled and maintained by an organization, and the medium on which it's contained. Since the introduction of the recent revisions of the standards, I have never heard a customer or an auditor asking for or referring to documented information. In my mind, it's a clear indication that this new term will live only in the standards, and will rightfully haunt its creators for the rest of their lives for confusing the hell out of all of us. In this book, I use our old and familiar terms procedure and record, and I do not have any doubt that these two will outlive the new documented information. This concludes our Annex SL and Annex L topic. If you prefer to get a paperback or an ebook, click the links below. They'll take you to the right places. Thanks for listening, and until next time.